At the beginning of the story we see a dense forest. Two couples, Rick and Haley, were climbing the mountain. Rick reaches the top before Haley and tells Haley that I told you that you can't beat me. After this, Rick looks around the forest, where he does not see even the name and mark of man apart from the dense forest far and wide. Rick tells Haley that you also come up quickly. The forest here is very beautiful. Having said this, Rick starts to move forward. Haley now tries to climb up here alone. But then his foot slips and he starts falling. But somehow she manages to hold her own and now she calls Rick for help. But Rick does not answer and suddenly Rick falls on the edge of the cliff. When Haley looks at Rick, a few drops of blood begin to fall on his face. Haley is shocked to see this. Now she is trying to understand the situation when someone picks Rick up and throws him down, and seeing this, Haley gets stuck in her throat. Now Haley tries to free herself and get down. But then someone starts pulling Haley up with a rope. Terrified, Haley cuts the rope to save herself. This causes her to fall directly down near Rick's body. Haley cries when she sees Rick dead. Now she was not able to cope well with this accident, only then she sees that someone is coming towards her from the bushes above. Seeing this, Haley quickly runs towards her car to save her life. But as he runs, his foot gets caught in a barbed wire. That makes her fall down and that's when we see someone drag Haley away. Now here we find out that many people are disappearing in this area of West Virginia and people believe that there are very strange looking people living in this forest who eat human flesh and whoever comes to this forest is killed by strange looking people. Now in the next scene we see a car on the road in which a man named Chris is sitting. Chris was going to interview today. But after coming some distance ahead, Chris gets stuck in the middle of traffic on the highway. When he sees that the cars are not moving at all, he then gets down from his car and goes ahead to a truck driver and asks him the reason for the traffic jam. On which the truck driver tells him that a chemical truck has overturned 3 miles away and all its chemical has spread on the road. So it may take a few hours for this jam to open. Hearing this, Chris gets upset as he was getting late for the interview. Now if he waited for the traffic to open here, he would have to stand here for many hours. That's why he missed the interview. So Chris turns his car around and tries to find another way and calls the place where he was going for work and tries to explain his situation to them that I will not be able to come early because of the traffic jam. But due to a hilly terrain, the signal of his mobile phone gets cut off. After coming some distance ahead, he sees a sign of a gas station on the way. Chris thought I might be able to help here. So he turns his car that way. On the way, he sees many abandoned cars parked here. He looks very surprised to see this, but then he reaches that gas station without thinking much about it, where he sees an old man. Old man was in a very bad condition. Chris asks the old man about the phone, and the old man points to the phone. After which Chris quickly approaches the phone and tries to call the company. But then Chris realizes that the phone is bad. Seeing this, Chris becomes even more upset and then his eyes fall on a map installed there, where he sees a Kutcher road to the city which used to go ahead and meet the highway. After which Chris sits in his car and goes out on that road. Now after walking for some time 2 paths come in front of him. Chris didn't know which path to take, so he thinks for a while and then he chooses the path passing through the middle of the forest because he thought that this path is a shortcut so that he will reach the city soon. But little did he know that he was going to make the biggest mistake of his life by choosing this path. As he goes further, he sees a dead deer on the road. In the process of seeing which he gets distracted from the road and meets with an accident with a car in front of him. Luckily, Chris was not injured in the accident and the car that hit him belonged to some students who had come for a walk in the forest. Chris first of all apologizes to them and says that I am ready to pay for whatever loss you people have suffered. After which Chris asks them why did you guys park your car on the way? To which a girl named Jessie answers that someone had laid a barbed wire in the middle of the road, due to which the tire of their car was punctured and looking at the tire, it was clear that it was not by chance but someone had deliberately laid the barbed wire on the road. Now these people could not get out of here even by sitting in Chris's car because Chris's car was also damaged due to the accident and now these people were trapped here. Then, as the saying goes, there's a gas bath in the back. Meanwhile, Chris sees that the 3 robbers have reached the tower looking for them. Seeing them, these people sit quietly and wait for them to leave. But then someone answers them on the radio, which is heard by the 3 men below and they understand that these people are hiding in the tower above. After which the men begin to climb up the tower. Now to save his life, Chris blocks his way into the tower. Now there is peace for a while and they start feeling that perhaps the man-eaters have gone away from here. But then their tower starts to smoke, which makes them realize that the man-eaters have set the tower on fire. Now these people were badly trapped and they start seeing their death. Chris says that if we stay here, we will die in the fire, and they were not understanding how to get out of there. When they didn't find a way to get out, they immediately hid down. After a while, that monster body is in front of them. They are very scared. And then, they see those monsters' faces. They are very scared. Actually, these three of them, who eat human beings. And these three, they took Francine's dead, on a table, and they all start cutting it. They started to see this scary. Jessie is very scared. As she gets to scream, Chris puts his hands on his face and presses Jess's voice. Then, the three of them, Francine's body, sleep. Now, Chris and Jessie slowly get out of bed. They both see them and Carly and Nathania also come out of the bedroom, and they all start to get out. Now, the three of them, they are being taken. But at the end, as Chris is coming in, then his face gets Adam Core's eye and he sees Chris. Now, Chris, when he understands that Adam Core has seen me, then he immediately starts to run away. They all start to run to the jungle. But now, Adam Core also gets in a car and gets them behind. They are getting to a place where a lot of people are in a car. Now, Chris gets in a car and he thinks to get out of there. When he tries to start a car, all the vehicles were bad. They were thinking how to get out of there. Then, Adam Core gets in their car, which they were hidden behind their cars. But those Adam Core already knew that they were behind their cars. That's why these three Adam Core are moving. Now, Chris's mind comes an idea. He tells his colleagues, I'm going to run away from here and steal them. When they get behind me, then you will steal their car. Now, as a plan, Chris starts screaming, he gets his attention on. Now, Adam Core is moving forward. Then, Carly is running to save Chris's life. He starts to run to the other side of the forest, as a result of their plan. They see Adam Core, and now Adam Core is looking at him. Now, Adam Core is behind them. Taking advantage of that, Jessie and Natasha, to pick up Chris. They take them to the Adam Core's car. Now, they three immediately get in and start to get out of there. And in the jungle, they find their friend. After a little bit of time, they see Carly. For this, they stop their car. And Carl is screaming to get in. Carl is also starts to come to them. But then a gun comes in from behind Carl's chest. They see their friend dying, they are very much exhausted. And then, they start shooting their weapon, Chris, and they start shooting their weapon. Now, to save their lives, they immediately get out of there. After a little bit of time, they have a big tree on their way and they have a block. So now they are walking in the jungle. After a few hours of walking, they get tired. That's why they start sitting in a place and relaxing. Now, the night was going to be night. They were not understanding where to spend the night. Because if they were to sleep in the jungle, they would have found them and killed them. So they are again in a safe place in search. And then, Natasha sees a wood-made tower. They see a safe place. Then, they go up. When they look at the top of the tower, they see a forest. They see a forest. After the tower, they get a frustrated Kit.
They get Nathania Chris's foot in a tie. They also find a radio, which they try to get in contact with the outside world, but they don't find an answer. In the meantime, Chris sees that the three Adamker, they are coming to the tower. They see them, they sit down, and they wait for them to go. But then, a radio gives them an answer. Their voice, the three Adamker, hears them. They understand that they are hidden in the tower. Then, Adamker is climbing up the tower. To save their lives, Chris's tower blocked them. Now, for a while, they get calm. They start to feel that Adamker is coming from here. But then, their tower starts to get a smoke.
So why not try to save your life by jumping on the tree in front of you? Now here Chris first of all jumps from the tower to the front tree and saves himself from falling down by holding onto a branch of the tree. After which the two girls also jump from the tower to the tree. But while jumping, three men below spot them and one of them starts climbing a tree to kill them. At the same time, these people move slowly with the help of twigs. But Natasha is at the back and then a man-eater comes from behind and brutally kills Natasha. Now let's move on to Chris. But he starts following her. Now here's an idea that comes to Chris' mind. Chris cleverly pulls and grabs a twig and as soon as the man-eater is trapped, brings it there. As the man-eater approaches them, Chris releases the twig. As a result, he falls down. The two men below become very angry when they see their friend in an injured condition. Here both of them secretly reach near a waterfall passing through the branches of a tree and spend the night there. In the morning, both of them start leaving from there and while walking they see a road. Both of them are very happy to see the road. But his happiness was short-lived. A manhunt ensues and Chris is attacked from behind. This causes Chris to roll down the slope and he grabs the man-eater Jesse and takes him with him. Just then, Chris sees a police car on the road. Seeing this, Chris quickly reaches in front of the police car. Actually at night when he had asked for help from the radio, before Chris could tell the policeman everything. Then an arrow comes from behind and breaks the police's eye. Seeing this, Chris becomes very nervous and he quickly gets into the same police car and starts to leave. However, the police had seized the car. Now Chris couldn't get the key out of the cop's pocket because he had gotten too close to the man-eater. So Chris hides behind the bush, saving himself, and then he picks up the corpse of the man-eater police and puts it in the car, and as soon as he is about to start the car and leave, Chris quickly comes under his car and holds the car tightly, after which the man-eater starts to take the car towards his house. At the same time, they had tied Jassy at home and now these people were going to cook Jassy alive. Just then, the second man comes out, under whose car Chris was hiding. The man-eater picks up the body of the dead police and takes it inside the house, and these people cut the body of the police into pieces. A man-eater then picks up a knife and comes to kill Jesse. But then Chris sets fire to their door, and as the man goes towards the door, Chris rams the car into their house at full speed and runs over the man. Chris then attacks the other man, severely wounding him, and quickly frees Jesse. But then a man-eater comes from behind, picks Chris up, slams him and starts to attack him with an axe, and as soon as the man-eater is about to kill Chris, an arrow hits directly behind the man-eater's head, causing the man-eater to fall down. Now as the two are about to leave the house, another man-eater attacks Chris. But now Jesse, along with Chris, begins to fight the man-eater. So the man-eater becomes weak in front of them, and as soon as she quickly picks up an axe and hits the man-eater on his chest and drops him down, and now as soon as these people start coming out of the house, the man-eater grabs the leg of the man-eater, but the man-eater frees himself from it, and the other man-eater, who had an arrow behind his head, also starts to rise again. The man-eater is not about to die, and Chris and Jesse quickly leave the house. Here Chris has only one bullet left in the gun. So Chris wisely shoots the gas tank in the back of the cop's car, due to which the entire house explodes, and finally the men present in that house are burnt to death in the fire. Chris and Jesse then leave in the same robber's car and drive straight to the gas station, where Chris tears up the map in front of him. Chris does this because he did not want what happened to him following this map to happen to anyone else, and no one could go down this path again. With this, the story ends. If you like this video, then subscribe to our channel and like the video, and if you want to see the second part of this movie, then write part 2 in the comment.